Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to show you a couple of things. Firstly, some quality of life improvements which are based on an article written by a security researcher, Matthew Brennan, based in Australia. Secondly, I will show you an introduction to Python 3 scripting in Ghidra. With that, let's dive in. All right. So here I am in my virtual machine. I have the article Understanding and Improving the Ghidra UI for Malware Analysis open in front of me. Let me close up the existing instance of Ghidra and let me open up a new instance. I'll go to my tools, disassemblers, Ghidra, Ghidra run.bat, close it. I'll close the previous project and create a new one. File, new project, non-shared, Ghidra YT, finish. I'll drag and drop the run me here, press OK, and press OK here. I'll double click on the run me, which will open it up in the code browser. Yes, analyze, and I'll maximize Ghidra as well. In the meantime, let's look at the article. This article, as I said, has been written by Matthew, who's based in Australia. And this is a great reference article for anyone who wants to fix the default Ghidra UI. So let's look at the first thing. We've already enabled dark modes. That's fine. The next thing is to make sure that we have cursor text highlighting enabled in Ghidra. So let's see if the analysis is complete. It is done. Let's go to our tool options and look for cursor text. And let's go here in the cursor text highlights. The mouse button to activate is in the middle, and the article says to make it the left button. All right, that's fine. Let's do that. And that will give us a feature of something where if we select something like undefined here, we can see all the other instances where undefined is used in this function. Next up, let's go down and see what else is there. Enabling entropy view window. Ghidra has an entropy view which can be enabled to hone in on high entropy content. The entropy view can be enabled by browsing. All right, show entropy. That's fine. So let's do that. It's here, show entropy, and we can see that this now gets enabled. Next up, enable function call tree in Ghidra, and the function call tree is here. I think you can press here. Let me look at this. All right, so you can press it here and this will enable the function call tree. Let's see what happens. I don't think I see the function call tree thing. Okay, this is the one. Disable, and this will display it, and this can close it. So we can see that if I use thread exec here, we can see that this is being called from the text startup function, and the functions that it is calling is get function address by hash and printf as well. So that's fine. This is really good information. Let's close this. Moving on, enable and moving the function graph to resemble IDA. This is something that is going to be extremely useful for us. So let's go there and see how that will work. Here we have the function graph, which can be enabled when you open this window. And when I select a function here, it should show me the graph. Now, how do we put it side by side? We just drag this function graph window and put it here. We will see multiple squares. And as soon as we drag and drop here, we can see that this is part of another tab here. We can just switch the tabs as and when we want, and we will always be at the position where the pseudocode is. And so whenever we move here, or whenever we move here somewhere else in the code, we can see that the function graph is moving as well. All right, so that's fine. The next one is disable typecasting in Ghidra. This is one of my favorite options to do, and this cleans up the code a lot. We can see here that this is typecasting, code pointer pointer, whatever, undefined pointer pointer, and we'll see that this is going to change the view of Ghidra a lot. So let's see where this is. This is in the display disable printing of typecasts. So let's go to our decompiler and display, and then go here, disable printing of typecast, apply, okay. And as soon as that happens, we can see that the code here has become a lot more cleaner. All right, so that's it for this article here, and let's close this. Now we will start off with the introduction to the Ghidra API. We will be using the Ghidrathon extension, which we had compiled in our previous video. This will allow us to do some Python 3 programming. I have a document open in front of me, which I'll be using as a guide to discuss some of these things. So let's start off. The first thing that we look at is the state. So the state is an object which will allow us to understand the current state of the program. So that will allow us to get the current location. So in the state is where the cursor is and what are some of the other things that have been selected, and that is what is going to be given to us via the state. So let's start off. State is equal to get state. Okay, and in order to understand more about the state, we can just use the Python function to get the type of state, and we can see that this is a Ghidra state variable. If we go and Google Ghidra state, we should be able to get some details about the Ghidra state. So Ghidra state, and Ghidra state basically provides us all these functions, right? It represents the current state of the Ghidra tool. All right, so state, and with that we can get the current location as well. So let's see what is the difference between current location. Let's print the current location. Decompiler location 1400016667 and line number 19 12 PAU var 2 has been selected over here. All right, and then we have the current address. We want to understand what is the differences between these two calls. And now if we print addr, we see that this gives us only the address of the current place. Okay, what's next? We can get the current program. Okay, current program, and go here. Program is equal to state.current program, and in this we can get the executable SHA. What are some of the other details that are available to us as part of the current program? We can go here and we can look at those as well. So get current program, and this is the return result, which is the program. And in the program we can see all of these methods that are available to us: get executable path, get executable SHA, get function manager. And this is going to be extremely important when we will try to analyze where different functions are being called from. Okay, so next up we'll get the executable path as well. So executable path, and we can see that this is C users developer desktop run me.exe. Okay. The next thing that is extremely important for us is to find out what are some of the functions that exist in a program. And this is the code snippet that is going to help us get those details. We see that there is a function called to get the first function, and from there we enter into a while loop, and this while loop then prints the function name and the address, and after that it passes the last function into another function call, which is get function after, and so that allows us to iterate over this in a while loop and try to print all the functions and their names along with their addresses. So let's use this and let's print all those details, and we can see that all the functions that are there that Ghidra has recognized are being printed over here, and then we have the address also over here. The last thing that we'll talk about in this introduction is to get the references to a function. It is extremely important for us to get references to a function. As you can see here, get function address by hash has been called in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. Okay, now let's suppose that we are here inside this function. Okay, and we want to understand where this function has been referenced from. We can copy its name, control C. I think I've already copied the name here. Yes, the name is already copied here. And so we will say that function manager dot get functions. We have not yet gotten the function manager, so that is going to be important. We'll have to use the program object to get us the function manager. Get function manager, and this is going to be function manager. Function manager is equal to get function manager, and after that we will use that to get all the functions. And once we get all the functions, we'll iterate over the functions to understand where we have this function, and from there we'll find the entry point. By the entry point we can get the references to those functions, and after that we can print those references. So let's execute this, and then we'll go over this to understand how it works as well. So control V, display here, and we can see that the places where this function is called from are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is just the data part. We don't care about this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we can see 64E, 681, 69A, 6BA, 6F0, and 1700. All right, so that is the information that we get as part of this loop. So I think that is a good enough introduction to the Ghidra API. In the next video, we are going to use all this information along with some other information to build a script which will allow us to automatically resolve the functions or the Windows APIs that are being dynamically resolved here in this code. We will add comments directly into this code as well, and that is going to help us with our analysis of the shell code as well. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you very much for your time.